Hi, Vita here. I wanted to go over an exercise for non-dominant hand. The exercise is a triplet exercise. In this case, this would be my left hand since I'm right-handed. My left hand is my weaker hand. So basically we're going through 3 bars of triplets in various iterations. We're gridding the notes actually. We're starting with full triplets, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. And then as we proceed, we rest on the first note, then the next 3 bars we rest on the middle note, and the next 3 we rest on the last note, and so forth. I'm going to include a link for the PDF underneath the video box in the description, so if you want to download that, it's going to be there available for you. And this exercise is not for speed. This exercise is to develop control in your weak hand, which we all have an issue with, unless someone is completely ambidextrous, in which case if you are, that's great. Most of us, however, are not. So, since all of us have either a weak left hand or a weak right hand, we need to bring that up so that it may never be exactly the same, may never be perfect, but we can work our best to close the gap between our dominant hand and our non-dominant hand. Okay, triplets are used in many different applications. When you're playing on the drum set as ghost notes, it makes for very textured playing. When playing shuffles, when playing a regular 4/4 time, the use of triplets are very sensitive. So I mean, I don't even have to explain just how much they're used. They're used very extensively in all forms of music. So it behooves every drummer that wants to improve their playing and just improve their technique to work on something like this. So one thing to keep in mind is that your non-dominant hand has a built-in teacher. My teacher, Mike Johnson, always talks about this. If you're left-handed, your right hand can teach your left hand. So how do you do that? Well, I mean, you look at your dominant hand doing the exercise, and then you look to see that your non-dominant hand mimics it as closely as possible. If you need a mirror, set up a mirror in such a way that you can see what your dominant hand is doing. It can reflect what your non-dominant hand should look like. So yeah, once you have the technique down correctly, or once you've already you already know you have the ability with your dominant hand, make so that your left or your weaker hand can mimic the motion that your dominant hand is making. And we don't want to do this quickly. Like I said, this is not about speed, this is about control. You want to pick a nice, easy tempo, because you're not going to blaze through this. This is basically to watch your form, to watch your motion, to make sure that each stroke is intentional, to make sure that you're hitting it, your drum at the center, make sure that you're not going ahead of your tempo or behind you. We want to develop good control, nice, good, solid, clean strokes on every hit all the way through the length of the exercise, okay? Here I have a practice pad that doesn't have very much rebound, which is fine. I don't want something to be bouncing all over the place. I want my hand to know exactly how much work it needs to do to make each stroke nice and even. If you are really up to a challenge, there's a pad that Moon Gel makes that has no rebound whatsoever. It's like a floor tom. So if you want to develop this on with the strength as if you were playing it on a floor tom, you can try the Moon Gel pad. I would just be careful not to injure yourself, because you are literally making all of the effort to move the stick when using the Moon Gel pad. So that's just a heads up on that. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna count it off. My tempo on my metronome is 60 beats per minute, which you may think that's so easy, and that's fine. This is about control and developing nice, clean, even strokes, okay? So here we go. Start that over. And I'm only doing the first bar of each line. 2, ready, go. So that is the exercise. Now, you may say, well, that's so easy. Well, it's not a complicated exercise. The point here is not having the physical ability to do it as much as being able to maintain the even hits over an extended period of time. So if you're going to set up an interval timer for this, you can set up your interval timer for 1 minute long, 2 minutes long, 3 minutes long, 4 minutes long, up to the length of a song, to see how you are able to continue to hit the strokes throughout the entire song without stopping. So I mean, I can speed this up to, let's say, 80 beats per minute, and I can bring down my dynamics so that the triplets sound like ghost notes rather than like regular notes. So the point here is to go through the exercise, pick a line, whether it's the first line or any of the other ones, and keep repeating that same line over through the entire length of the period of time that you're going to do. So if you're going to do 3 minutes, do the first line for 3 minutes straight, which is straight triplets all the way through. No accents, no change no variation in dynamics, just the same dynamic all the way through, whatever it is, piano, forte, whatever you want to choose, just pick that and stick through it until the end of your interval, and then go to the next line. And the gist of this here is to do this 3-4 minutes at a time. If you want to go longer than that, that's fine. That'll build up your endurance, and more than anything, it will really test those muscles that are just repeating the same motion over and over again. If you feel yourself getting fatigued, stop. You don't want to injure yourself, and at the same time, try to practice with a metronome so you don't speed up or slow down. Drumming is about playing in time. Whether we change subdivisions or change the notes that we're working on or the dynamics or whatever we're doing, the point of it all at the end, the bottom line, is we got to play in time. So play with a metronome, and then vary your metronome settings so that you don't always have them there holding your hand. Silence some of the notes if you have a metronome that has those capabilities, so you can really test your inner clock while you're working on this. But until you get to that point, make sure that your metronome has all your settings so that you're hitting everything there until you start to develop that feel for the timing, and making sure that you're hitting all the notes you need to hit them, you're not rushing, that you're not galloping through the notes, and that you're not missing any rests. So that's the extent of this one. If you have any questions, by all means, let me know what they may be, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. So good luck.